Short-term memory is defined as a memory system that retains information for a brief period of time. The duration of short-term memory is a question that many psychologists have studied for over 50 years. In fact, this study all began in 1959 with Lloyd and Margaret Peterson. They were interested in discovering how long participants could remember a string of 3 letters when rehearsal was prevented. 24 participants were chosen to recall 3 strings of letters, and they were asked to count backwards 3 in 3s or 4s to prevent rehearsal. The participants were asked to recall the 3-letter strings in intervals of 3 seconds. The Petersons found that the longer the interval delay, the less 3-letter strings were recalled. After 3 seconds of delay, participants were able to recall about 90% of the strings. However, after 18 seconds, less than 10% of the participants were able to recall the 3-letter strings. This study shows that short-term memory has a limited duration if rehearsal is prohibited. The Petersons added an interference to their experiment. Interference is a loss of information from memory because of competition from additional incoming information. In an experiment conducted by Gary Jones, participants were tested to observe whether they could remember digits or words better. The results found that participants could recall digits with more accuracy than words. In our experiment, we decided to test whether it was the time or the interference that affects short-term memory. We are focusing on retroactive interference. Retroactive interference is the interference with retention of old information due to acquisition of new information. Many experiments have been conducted to study the length of short-term memory. However, our experiment will bring a new understanding to the study of short-term memory. In our study, we are looking to find a new kind of interference, therefore deepening our understanding of short-term memory.
This experiment addresses the question of short-term memory when presented with an interference.
Participants include a random sampling of freshman year college students that have signed up for the test. The study includes 300 students in total, including 150 males and 150 females. From here, we will divide the 300 participants into 3 sections of 100 randomly assigned groups. Group 1 will serve as a control group, Group 2 will be given easy number patterns, and Group 3 will be given hard number patterns to solve.
We will do random sampling of the freshman year college students who signed up for the study. After we randomly sample our 150 males and 150 females for a total of 300 students, we will randomly assign the students into 3 groups, consisting of 100 students. The students will be unaware of whether they are in the control or experimental groups. Each group will be taken into a different classroom, but the classrooms will all be identical to avoid any extraneous variables interfering with their performances. The students will sit in front of a computer to begin the study. An experimenter will enter the room and explain the directions to the students. The experimenter will also tell each group that they will receive $5 for each correct answer. They are told to begin. A series of 3 letters will pop up on the screen. For example, the series B, P, K will be shown on the screen. All 300 students will be shown the exact same series of letters. The letters will disappear from the screen after 3 seconds, and a timer will begin. The timer will start for 10 seconds. During those 10 seconds, the interference is introduced to the study. The members in the control group, Group 1, will not have an interference. They will be looking at a white screen for the 10 seconds. The members in the experimental groups will receive interferences, but the difficulties will vary. Group 2 will be shown an easy number pattern that they must solve. For example, the series 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, blank will be shown on the screen. Group 3 will be shown a difficult number pattern that they must solve. For example, the series 15, 29, 56, 108, 208, blank will be shown on the screen. The students will have a space to type in the answer to the pattern. After the 10 seconds are up, the screen will go blank. Another page will pop up for all the groups and ask the students to type the letter series they were shown. The same process will be repeated 10 times, with a new letter series every time and a slightly different number series. The number series will be the same level of difficulty for each group. Each time the accuracy of remembering the letter series will be recorded.
The control group will consist of the students who receive no interference. In other words, they will not be shown a number pattern. Experimental group 2 will consist of the students who receive an easy interference. In other words, they will be adding by 2s or 3s. And group 3 will consist of the students who receive a hard interference. In other words, they will be multiplying and dividing. The independent variable is the interference. We manipulate the appearance of a number pattern as well as the difficulty of the pattern. The dependent variable is the accuracy of remembering the letter series. The remembrance depends on the degree of the interference. Each student will be taking the test on a computer. All belongings will stay outside the room and they cannot use the computer for other uses to avoid distraction. Every student will be given 10 seconds to complete the task. It is very important that the time remains constant so we focus only on the difficulty of the interference. The participants know that after each correct sequence and letter reciting, they will receive $5. The amount of money they receive will exponentially increase with each additional correct sequence and letter recitement. This ensures that the participants are doing the best they can to maximize our accuracy to our full ability.
We predict that the accuracy of a student's short-term memory will decrease as the difficulty of the interference increases. To test this hypothesis, we will compare the accuracy of remembering the letter series between the students who received no interference, the students who received an easy interference, and the students who received a hard interference.
In our study, it is crucial to follow the procedures exactly. We emphasize the importance of having exactly 10 seconds for every round because we want time to be a constant factor. We also had to include an incentive to ensure that the participants are performing every task to the best of their abilities. However, there are a few limitations and weaknesses to our study. It is very important that the students are unaware of what group they are put in and that they do not realize that we only care about the accuracy of the letter and not the number pattern. Being that there are 10 rounds to the studies, the participants can catch on to the purpose of the study easily. Lastly, because our study uses a lot of thinking, the participants can get tired.